Welcome back to my channel Relationship Haven. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. In today's story, found out his wife cheated on him with a police officer to avoid getting a DUI charge. Now her life and her PS are a complete wreck. Let's get into today's story to find out what happened. I am a 35-year-old male with a wife who is 34 years old so far. Our relationship has been pretty great. A few ups and downs here and there, but solid. That's when I noticed one day my wife was acting weird. My wife told me that she was going out for a girls' night. I said that's fine and she went out. I didn't hear from her for a long time when she's out with the gals. Usually there are drinks, but my wife knows her limit tonight though. It was strange. I didn't see her get back until almost 2 a.m. and she seemed a little bit out of it when I asked her what was wrong. She told me it was just a long night with the girls, but I could smell the alcohol on her breath. I don't condone her drinking and driving. We had a fight and she insisted that she was sober when she drove home, dismissing it. I went to bed. But after that, my wife started acting very odd. She changed her passwords on everything in her 5 years of marriage. She never did this sort of thing, which is why I was curious. I also noticed she would also hide her phone sometimes when I was around. She spent some time locked in the bathroom. And when I confronted her, she told me that she had just felt sick. I thought maybe she was pregnant and we took a test, but nothing. I didn't want to suspect anything was wrong. But it was definitely weird to me. Then things got really weird. I went into the office and one of my coworkers told me about this rumor about how an office slept with some gal in our town. I thought it was kind of weird that he brought it up. I asked for details. But my coworker said he didn't have anything and that he didn't know anything else. I tried to get the gut feeling out of my head, but my wife looked at me paranoid and she just stopped drinking altogether. One night, I thought about cracking open a bottle and watching a movie together. But she refused to drink, frustrated. I confronted her. She told me that the night of her little outing, she was pulled over, that the officer put his hands on her and assaulted her. She told me she couldn't remember anything besides pain and darkness. She said she didn't have a choice, jail or sex, and that she didn't know what to do. It was already kind of suspicious. I mean, who says that they're given some kind of weird sexual scenario when they're given a DUI? But then she got up saying she had to go to the bathroom. She ran to the one furthest from the living room. I tipped it up there, heading to the doorway. And then that's when I heard it. My wife screamed right after that. When she came out, I pretended I didn't hear it. And well, she was convinced that she was assaulted by him. She continued by saying that she was hurt, and I knew that she was honestly stringing me on. That's when the worst happened. One night I walked in late and then that's when I heard it. I heard her talking to another guy with little cutesy sounds. She made little noises talking about how she missed her big strong officer and that she would see me soon, frustrated. I walked into the doorway, staring at her. That's when I confronted her. It turns out that she wasn't just having a one-night stand with this officer. This went on for 2 years. For 2 years. This woman lied to me, pretending that she cared, lying to me. All of those girls' nights were her just going to his place. And the last time she had a bit too much, but her little officer told her to go on home. I was pissed. I found out as well that on her Instagram, she even mentioned she was with the guy. Can you believe it? I put all of this time and effort and then that was it. I couldn't stay with her and I knew that she would continue to hurt me. I didn't want to keep fighting the pain anymore. I immediately left the house, got a divorce, and my coworker told everyone that my wife and that officer were cheaters. I managed to tell the station and he got fired. I told my wife's company too and they fired her. It was the best job she ever had and she doesn't have a college degree. So she's screwed. The officer was supposedly discharged without pay for his actions. It didn't make up for what they did, but it did give me some peace of mind anyways. That's my story. I hope all of you that are going through this are able to heal. It's a work in progress, but I'm taking it day by day. Wow. That's terrible. That's such betrayal. And the fact that it went on for years is not okay. I'm glad to hear you took a stance though, by exposing their affair and getting them fired. Karma served justice in that aspect. I know that you'll struggle with trusting another person. If you do try marriage again, it requires a lot of trust. And obviously your wife decided to betray that trust. Take as much time as needed to heal. I wish you the best of luck. Now, on to our next story. My wife and I are both 32, married for 3 years and then together for 8. My wife got invited to a holiday party at one of the local bars here. It's a pretty casual company. So I figured casual party we went, but I was docked. I've been working late hours and I wanted to head home. I went home and she stayed telling me that her coworker who lived nearby would give her a ride home. I got home trying to sleep, but I couldn't get those words out of my head. Something felt wrong. Exhausted. I tried to do some work before falling asleep at my desk. The next morning I woke up and went to check the bedroom, but she wasn't there. Confused. I texted her finding out that she ended up just staying with a female co-worker. I brushed it off. Surprised she didn't leave me a message. That's when it began. I noticed her spending more time at work despite the holidays coming up. I told her this, but she said it was an important project. I wasn't convinced. She started to go to that bar more often. I asked her what was so special about that place. She said it was quiet when I went there one time to see what she was doing. She had a co-worker with her, but there was a third spot indicating that there was a third person there. I figured that maybe it was just my imagination. The holidays were coming up. And despite the long hours, she did give me a bunch of gifts. I noticed she was extra sexual too. In the bedroom. She also was off birth control. So maybe that's also why she acted the way that she did. But I couldn't get that feeling out of my head that something was wrong, that I shouldn't have left her at that party. She also changed her computer and phone password, making it obvious something was up. That's when I decided to confront her. The night before Christmas Eve, I went to her office and I went to where she worked. That's when I heard it. I heard the sounds from her and her co-worker. I peered through the crack and I was disgusted. I walked in confronting her. She quickly grabbed her clothes and I said we had to talk now. When we sat in the car, that's when the truth came out. She told me everything. She had feelings for this guy for about a month and they got close during a project. She never went home with the female coworkers. She went home with him and they had sex. I was so pissed. I asked her why she did it. She told me that she wanted to try something new. I thought that she was better than this. Not to mention she stopped taking birth control too, and she also didn't use protection. Luckily she did get her period. But that didn't make it any better for any of us on the way home. I felt frustrated and I almost crashed our car to think a woman. I spent all of these years with cheating on me for some guy that she barely knew. The possibility of that was too much. My wife attempted to make it up to me, trying to be more loving and spend more time with me. But by now it was too late. I couldn't divorce her yet. It was Christmas and we had a family. But when we went to the family parties the whole time, I regarded this cheating woman with a cold-hearted look. I couldn't trust her. There was nothing more to trust. The coworker didn't seem to feel sorry either. When I confronted him, he brushed it off, saying it was all her, not him. My wife tried her hardest to be forgiven, but with marriage counseling, that's when more came out. He wasn't the only one that she had an affair with. She had an affair with multiple guys all throughout those couple of years of marriage that we had. When I found out, I grabbed the glass of water, splashing her in the face. I regret getting upset like that. But this woman didn't care. She was a cheater and she didn't understand the gravity of the situation. As I walked on out, I called my lawyer. I work in software and make a decent income. She worked a mere hourly clerical job. I made more money than she did. And I was the primary breadwinner shortly after I got a divorce, and I informed her workplace of both my wife and her cheating. Whether they took action is beside the point. I feel like I made the right decision, deciding to leave her like this. I continued to work in the same place I did, kicking her out of the house, and I now live alone, but I'm looking to sell to get into a smaller place, so I don't have to remember memories like this. She's homeless now. But good riddance. Maybe she would still have a place if she wasn't cheating with her co-worker. I think you did the right thing when it came out that she'd been doing this throughout your marriage. It was hard to stay calm and collected while violence isn't the answer. I understand your reaction. And what happened? I hope that you are able to find someone else who you can love and trust. Once again, cheating hurts both parties. And the fact that she was so nonchalant about it is hurtful. I hope that you can find some peace and be able to heal from this. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed listening, please feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also comment below with your thoughts on what happened.